Hi, my name is Nick Karn. This is my EDL 850 Module 16 case study, Internet Use Violations. So problem identification, what do we know? We know that Miss Tate is a new teacher who came from the professional field. So she's a little older than most new teachers, but she's very well educated, and with that comes high expectations for her students, and that has led to some stress in her students. The principal, Dr. Smith, has worked with Miss Tate to reduce her stress levels with her students and increase more positive interactions, but Miss Tate still struggles with this aspect. Parents and students have complained about Miss Tate's teaching style due to the high expectations, and Miss Tate checked her email one day, and one message suggested for her to view a website, specifically a Facebook page, concerning her. She did, and she found offensive language regarding her and her class. And the final message on the page that really disturbed her said, "Who wants Miss Tate to disappear?" Miss Tate viewed this message as a threat to her safety and called Dr. Smith. Dr. Smith did reassure her that it was most likely a prank, but that he would investigate the matter and talk to particular students, specifically one that Ms. Tate identified who may have written the message. So what do we need to know? One thing we need to know is the context. Disappear could also mean fired, and so that's one thing we could figure out. We also need to know who emailed Ms. Tate the warning message. We also need to know why Ms. Tate identifies a specific student that did this. Maybe she's had issues with him in the past and she could provide more details on that. And finally, we need to know how the conversation went with Dr. Smith, Ms. Tate, and the identified student, if that conversation did occur. The problem with this case is that Ms. Tate struggles to create relationships with her students, or at least positive ones, and has caused them, obviously, to push them to a point to create a Facebook page that is either threatening her job or her safety. And as an educational leader, Dr. Smith has to act with integrity and fairness to all students and must not act too hastily regarding Ms. Tate's accusations. That is why he is printing off the Facebook page and having the suspected student or students to interview them on the matter. So for this plan of action, I got 3 here. When going into interviews with students to investigate, one thing that I would suggest is to avoid accusations and just ask questions that could lead to the truth to provide a fair opportunity for the student to speak. It would also be wise to have a parent and another administrator or teacher who's present and can provide witness or take notes, who is not Ms. Tate, present as well. So that's always a good idea, I think. And then number 2, have the acceptable internet use policy from the district printed along with the Facebook blog. This provides support to show the students that what is acceptable and when using district property. Parents and students might claim that they have a right to free speech on here, which is protected in some ways, but when it is a threatening message, they are not protected, especially on a district computer or school computer. Number 3 is to continue to work with Ms. Tate to help her with her classroom management. She is a first-year teacher and she needs a ton of her support. She has the knowledge to be a great teacher. She just needs to learn how to build those relationships with her students. And I would look into training programs that she could go to, may give her professional development days to go. One program that comes to mind for me is Capturing Kids' Hearts, which gives teachers strategies on classroom management. It also helps teachers build relationships with students. There's a lot of different things in there. There's also a lot of different programs that she could go to, but that's just the one that kind of came into my mind because I've gone through it and I've seen how it works, and it's pretty awesome. Resolution of issues here. To resolve this issue and what's interested the best of all students, I would carry out the action steps in category 2 because I think that they all help. But also, when resolving this issue, we need cooperation from everyone involved. The students who are being accused by the teacher need to be protected just as much as the teacher. I would advocate that a parent would be involved again in this process so the student feels that they're supported and not being attacked. When it comes to the academic success of each student in this case study, it is important to train Ms. Tate to improve her relationships with her students. Ms. Tate is very well educated, and could truly improve the students' academic performances immensely if she adds that piece to her instruction. Finally, students need to understand that if you threaten someone online or in person, it could hurt your academic reputation. It could also hurt them when they go into the job force, and they need to understand what is acceptable online and what is not. For our students to succeed academically, they have to understand that their online footprint is important to their careers and their academic future. So what was I thinking during this case? Throughout it, I was thinking that this occurrence happens more than people think. With the online community expanding, students have more opportunities to express themselves online. I thought it was interesting that someone emailed Ms. Tate that this Facebook page was created because most students just let these things slide, but it must have been bad enough for someone to say something. And that leads me to what I was feeling. I really felt bad for Miss Tate. No teacher needs to read what was written about her or him. She clearly is a talented person who could be doing other things, but she chose to help students and teach. With that being said, I also felt that students did not mean for her to see this page. As a teacher of high schoolers, I know they can be cruel with their words online, yet not really mean it. Sometimes they're just venting on there, and they not only do it to teachers, they do it to other students as well. So it's tough in a lot of cases. And again, it goes back to educating our students on what is acceptable and what is not. I also felt that the principal, Dr. Smith, was very professional in his handling of the situation. He reassured Ms. Tate and told her that actions will be taken to remedy the situation. And that leads me to my third thing, what I was valuing. I, again, value the way Dr. Smith handled the situation. He was very calm and did not disregard Ms. Tate's feelings. He also did not jump to conclusions and say he was going to discipline all the students. He informed Ms. Tate that there would be a plan to help her, and it would be handled right when they returned to school. So he's handling the situation best he can, in my opinion, at the time. So he's handling it quickly. He's considering her feelings. He's also considering the fairness to his students. So that leads us to component one. How did you, the education leader at the building level, apply knowledge that promotes the success of every student by acting with integrity? In this specific case, as a school leader who demonstrates integrity and promotes the success of every students, we must do the following. Number one is keep a detailed account of meetings with students who could be involved with the Facebook page. I like to have a record of everything as well. So printing off that Facebook page is important. I would also advocate for a parent or guardian, again, to be present along with another staff member who is not involved. To me, that's just the right thing to do to help to support the students and assist them in what they may be doing. Number two, do not make assumptions and ask questions in a professional manner. So again, that goes to doing the right thing of we might have a student who's had issues in the past who has violated the rules, but that doesn't mean they did it. And just because the teacher has her suspicions about a student does not mean they particularly did it. So we need to go in with a clean slate and just understand that each student deserves a fair shake in that case. So just making sure that we ask questions in the right way. Number three, have knowledge of the acceptable internet use policy and communicate it with the students to promote their knowledge as well. Maybe the school kids do not understand what the acceptable use policy is. A lot of them just sign it because they want their computer. Maybe actually going over it with them in an advisory class or at the beginning of a period one day, just to review, because it is important. And a lot of companies today have that policy as well. So it's important for students to know that there is an acceptable use policy, and communicating that is important. And finally, continue to train Ms. Tate on her management skills to improve her instruction. I really think that good teachers equal good students, and students feel more accepted or feel safer at school if they have good relationships with their teachers. So getting that relationship piece in can be the right thing for our students as well. And it's never too late to build those relationships. I think that any teacher, no matter how bad they think they are with relationships, can work on that and improve that. So acting with fairness here, as a building leader, students who are suspected of unacceptable internet use as a district, using a district device, will be given an unbiased meeting with the parent or guardian present. Number two, every student will be made aware of the acceptable use policy for district devices. And number three, if student or students who wrote the final message come forward, they will be allowed to explain themselves, to provide that context, and will be given a consequence according to district policy. So regardless of what may have happened, everything like that, we're going to stick to the facts. We're going to stick to making sure that the kids get a fair shake and everything throughout this process. Again, you want to support your teacher, but you also want to support the kids, or the students in this case. So we just need to make sure that everything's fair, everybody's given a chance to speak, everybody's given a chance to defend themselves, and we go on from there. Of course, we do have the option of getting into looking at someone's computer to see if they did write the message by using the district technology technician. So that could be an option, and we let students know that, so that if they did do it, they have a chance to admit it, and we can move on from there. And then component three, acting in an ethical manner. Students are provided a meeting to explain the situation, number one here. So I think that's huge when acting with ethics, that they're allowed that meeting. And then number two, we're continuing to support the teacher after the matter by providing moral and technique support to help her with her relationship building with all her students. And then last one, number three here, is to seek out evidence such as the acceptable internet use policy to kind of help us back that up and have something written on paper to show that, hey, this is not acceptable and here's why, and we go from there. So that is all my presentation there. I hope that it was well done, and thank you for watching. Thank you for the whole class. I really enjoyed it, really learned a lot, and please leave me feedback so I can improve in the future. Thank you so much, and have a great weekend.